Hey, what's going on? I got the latter half of my comic reviews this week's, which I'm pulling up now, so without further ado, let's get this shindig started with Venom, number 13.1. Yeah, if you can get that in a shot and get that damn glare off there. I thought Remender was going to be writing the majority of these issues, or all of them, in fact. Come to find out, they're going to be at least 3 different writers on 13.1 through 13.3. And on this one we have Mr. Rob Williams taking over on the title. Now, Williams wrote a good X-Force miniseries for Fear Itself, which was actually pretty good. We open up this issue, continuing off, and we have Doctor Strange and the Son of Satan, Damon Hellstrom, on the scene, as you can see. And both of them are trying to figure out just exactly how bad the situation is with hell breaking out, quite literally, in Sin City. Johnny Blaze is still literally running around in circles on the centrifuge to keep it from sucking that portion of Earth into hell. And meanwhile, Blackheart introduces our 4 protagonists to their counterparts, their antitheses, if you will. Let's see. Ghost Rider has this one named Icker, who is sort of like a version of the Redeemer. Here are the antitheses. We've got X666 for X23. We've got this brain thing called Encephalon for Red Hulk, and we have the Evangelist for Venom. I'm going to say, this issue was simply okay. To me, it is not as good as what the first one was, but it's still alright. I'm going to say the art is good, but the fights with the antitheses themselves are mediocre at best. I don't know, we're just trying to, literally pull ideas out of a hat for the antithesis for each of these characters. The Evangelist does something interesting with the symbiote when he faces off against Venom. X23's is a little cheerleader, and I don't know, I'm just not impressed by their evil counterparts, if you will. And this issue is mostly exposition and fight scenes. I'm going to say probably the best one is Encephalon, or the giant brain man for the Red Hulk. And he's kind of fucking with Ross's head psychologically, and he's got like these telekinetic abilities to where he can pick the Hulk up. And like there are a couple of funny parts in here, like when he's holding the Hulk up telekinetically and he's like, drop and give me 20. And he literally picks up and drops Red Hulk like 20 times, which was, pretty good for a laugh. But overall, we got kind of a cliffhanger here at the end. Ghost Rider, I'm going to say, her foe was taken care of rather quickly, which was kind of disappointing. So it kind of leads me to wonder exactly just how much more that they're going to do with the story in the course of 6 issues. The ending is okay. It's not really spectacular, but it's only the second part of this series. Remender had a great first shot on it. I'm going to say Rob Williams on this one was just simply okay. But it still is worth continuing the story for. Next up, we go over to Remender, this time, on Uncanny X-Force number 21. I didn't review issues 19 and 20, I believe, but basically, what happens is that after the whole thing with the Dark Angel saga, Venom X is kidnapped by the otherworldly police force that is like Captain Britain's group that he works for, and he's kind of spirited Psylocke away to keep her from trying to rescue her friends. And Phantom X was quickly put on trial, and they're going to execute him in a very interesting way, I'm going to say. he's getting a lethal injection in a very interesting way, which is kind of good. The other characters in here, Wolverine. We got like this high evolutionary guy who's also an otherworldly enemy to X-Force, and also the otherworldly court system. And basically what he does to Wolverine in this issue is just break him 7 different ways to Sunday. Like, it's brutal. But that leads into a critique I have with this book. The writing is good for the most part. The absolute thing that I dislike immensely about this book is who they chose to do the art. I'm not familiar with Greg Tocchini, who is taking up the art for the last couple of issues and this one, but this is basically the way that Wolverine gets broken in, and I am not really liking this art. It's dark, and it's, you know, it's a dark palette with, you know, a lot of violence to it, which is what X-Force is, but I'm just not really digging the art on this issues, or the last couple of issues along with this one. There's some good character stuff that goes on with Psylocke, kind of interesting here. She's back in an old costume, so to speak. That's her right there, and right here, which is kind of cool. And we have this thing with the new Kurt Wagner. You know, this is also a small complaint that I've had for the last couple of issues, which I didn't voice, which is we got kind of this thing now to where everybody has not been entirely caught up. Like, a lot of people know that Nightcrawler is dead, but they didn't know about the AOA Nightcrawler. And this was kind of something that they were running through, especially in the last issue, saying like, you know, people sat there and kept saying, you know, well, you know, Kurt never did this, and he's like, yeah, 999, I am not the Kurt that you knew. He doesn't believe in God, and he enjoys killing people, which is something that he's adamantly vocal about. But he is pretty much the swashbuckling badass that Kurt Wagner would be if he really did let himself go. There's a really funny instance in here, or actually a couple of really funny instances regarding him with Deadpool's head. Deadpool has been kind of downplayed for the last couple of issues, but he does have some jokes to throw out there which are pretty freaking funny. And then much later on, there's a group that X-Force encounters, which is led by a past flame of the original Kurt Wagner, and it shows up in the appearance of this giant bearded man, and they confront him, and it's like, what you doing here? And then Kurt steps up and just like, well, you know, we weren't looking for trouble. And then, like, this is the fucking funniest moment in this book. This big bearded guy all of a sudden just grabs Nightcrawler by the shoulders and then just hauls off and kisses him. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then, like, the next panel, it reverts back to this woman who knew Kurt from a long time ago, and it's a very nice fan service for people who are big followers of Nightcrawler. And like, she was saying, you know, like, I'm so pleased to be able to kiss you again. I thought you were dead. And then, like, he sits there and says, I'm not the guy that you thought I was, but I was really pleased when you kissed me, and I found out that you weren't who I thought you were. So, I mean, that's just pretty funny. But then we kind of end off with this little cliffhanger. Somebody else who's also an enemy of Captain Britain shows up in this issue at the end of it, which is kind of interesting. Overall, there's great writing, great character development in here. This is why I continue reading this series. But then again, as I said, my major complaint against this is the art. Hopefully by the next story arc we'll... I mean, like, I gave this issue a couple of chances with the last couple... Or gave the series a couple of chances with the last couple of issues that this guy did, but I just can't find myself liking the art overall. But the story is still worth it to pick up for the great writing that Remender does, and I would recommend it. Excuse me. And finally, we come to another favorite of mine out of the X books, Wolverine and the X-Men #5. Alright, so we had like that really big cliffhanger at the end where all of a sudden Kitty Pryde is pregnant, and sent a lot of people rolling, jaws dropping, especially it did mine, wondering what the hell was going on. But the cover gives away pretty much what is going on with her. Excuse me. We got a brood infestation going on. And a majority of this issue is all about the brood, in fact. But we do start off kind of with a biology lesson from Beast to a lot of the kids. They quite literally get to explore the mutant body and what makes it tick and all that, and like the crap that just goes on inside there, and you know who it winds up being that they were touring the body of. I mean, there's a lot of shit in this book that had me rolling. Wolverine's got some financial problems running the school, and then you know with the new Warren that is around. Excuse me, I'm trying to keep this from laughing too much, but this because this new Warren is around, like the company has said that he's not entirely mentally competent to be able to run the company, so they've cut the funding, and Wolverine is trying to look for what he can to find something to be able to pump money into the school by any means necessary. And meanwhile, there's some hilarious stuff that takes place with the kids. I really liked the time when Kid Omega was hitting on Idy in there, and a lot of shit with Brew was funny in this as well. Idy and Brew, I've really come to like those characters, and it seems that there's kind of subtle hints at kind of a romantic interest going on in between them, and which, you know, may be expanded upon. It's very subtle, but if you sit there and find it, you'll pick up on it. Just all around funny stuff. And then, like, we got Brood. There are two problems with the Brood. One is that there's an infestation of them within Kitty Pryde, and then we have another large group of Brood coming from somewhere else, dropping in on, are going to be dropping in on the school, and apparently is causing Brew himself to spaz the fuck out. All in all, this is an overall terrific issue. Had me laughing myself stupid. Pick it up, I guarantee you'll be laughing yourself stupid too. And that does it for my comic reviews. If you got any questions or comments, drop them below. And until next time, I will catch you guys later, so be seeing you.